Okay, welcome to another video. I'm doing a quick story about how I broke an exit sign at my school. I could have been charged for vandalism real easily, but we'll get into that. Uh, I was an idiot and didn't know what I was thinking and decided to break the exit sign, so let's just get straight into this. I had seen videos earlier, before I did this, about people just jumping up and tearing down exit signs. So I was like, that's pretty funny. And I just saw the people just duct tape it back up to the roof, and I was like, okay, so you can't get in that much trouble if you get caught. They'll just probably give you lunch detention or something, which I had never had, so I'd never planned on really doing it. And then that day, it was like one day, I watched a video of a guy just continuously tearing down an exit sign. I was like, that's extremely funny. I don't. It was a really funny video because they just duct taped it back to the ceiling and he tore it right back down. And then I was like, I should probably do that. I'll just touch it though and not actually tear it down or anything because I'm a 6 foot teenager. Of course, I'm going to jump up and hit anything I can that other people can't. So at the end of the day, I was walking down to get my trumpet from the band, and there's a band hallway that we go into. And I went down that band hallway, and then one of my friends showed up. I can't remember. I think it was. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It was just one of my friends. But he showed up, and I was like, "Oh, dude, watch this!" So I jumped. There was an exit sign at the end of the hallway, and that's where I was. So I jumped up, or I ran, jumped up, and hit the exit sign. And then I heard my friend yell, like, "Aiden, you idiot!" And then I heard a loud crash behind me. I turned around. I tore the cover of the exit sign off. So pretty much when I jumped up and tried to smack it, my fingers broke the glass, like the red glass on the exit sign itself. And then when I came down, I tore down the front part as well. So now there's broken glass on the bottom. There's like an exit sign broken in half. And my first thought was to run. So that's exactly what I did. Now let me get this out of the way. If you ever do something like that and it was a total accident, like mine was, I just meant to touch it, did not mean to break it at all. Uh, Go tell someone or whoever owns it, don't run like I did. So I pretty much, when I started running, I didn't know where I was going. I ran into the gym, and I was like, okay, well, I'm probably screwed. So I ran into my gym at the school. There's a bunch of girls, I think it was like basketball practice, doesn't matter, but I ran across the gym to the other side where there was another exit, and ran out those doors, ran around the building to my mom's car, because it was the end of the day, got in, and then immediately told her that someone at the school had broken an exit sign. Don't know what I was thinking when I told her that, but I did. So, my mom's like, "It wasn't you, was it?" And I was like, "No, not at all. It was like some kid it was black shorts and a black hoodie," is what I told my mom. A kid in a black shorts and a black hoodie ran down the hallway, jumped up, hit the exit sign, and then continued running. So pretty much what I did, just with different clothing on. And I've never wear shorts, so I thought saying shorts would get me out of the puzzle. And then we headed home. I told my brother what happened, and then we headed home, and then we went to go feed our cows. And while we were feeding our cows, I was picking up a bag of food, and then started walking out there, and I see my dad on the phone coming out to the pasture. And then I waved at him like, "Oh, is everything okay?" And then he was like, one second." He walked over to my mom and said, "Did Aiden break an exit sign at school today?" And my mom's like, "Nobody told me someone did." And my dad said, "Oh, she said someone did. She knows someone did." And then my dad told him it was a guy in a black hoodie and black shorts. And then the guy that he was on the phone with said, "Oh, well, right here, he's wearing a red shirt with blue jeans, red shoes, and a red backpack." That's exactly what I had on. They had me on camera because it was a camera at the end of the hallway, and they got my face clear as day right there. And nobody knows me at that school. It was my first year there, and this was like the last 2 months of school, so nobody still knows who I am. I have a few friends, but I'm not popular at all. So they had no idea who I was, who they should look for, but they were just calling parents and stuff, trying to figure out who it was. So, I was like, no, it was a kid in black shorts and a black hoodie talking to my dad about it. And then he said, well, what was he wearing again? Uh-huh. Yeah. Aiden? Something you want to tell us? And I was like, well, there's no way I'm getting out of this. And I was like, okay. I jumped up and broke an exit sign. My mom was like, oh my god. Freaked out about it. I was like, I am in so much trouble. Because I still had school the next day. No, no, no. It was a weekend. It was a Friday. And I was like, I am so screwed. That's what I thought to myself. So, my dad took me back to the house. Said he would have, what was it? I would have gotten that belt. Thank God I did not. I've never had the belts. That would not have been a good first time either. He said he was very mad at me, but he's just gonna leave for work. So he left for work, and then my mom came back, grounded me, and then said, on Monday we're going into the principal's office and we're gonna talk to him, and you're gonna tell him that it was an accident and you're sorry. She said, you're probably gonna get ISS. ISS is in-school suspension, and I've never been in in-school suspension ever, or lunch detention for that fact. So, a couple days go by. I'm bored at home, digging holes, going swimming, doing anything I can possibly do. Excuse my voice crack. Doing anything I can do to keep myself entertained while not playing video games. Wasn't bad, but it's pretty sucky because I couldn't play with my friends. Word got round to my girlfriend, the entire family, pretty much the entire school had already known because I'm getting texts from my friends being like, dude, what happened? Was that you? Did you break that exit sign? And I was like, I never texted anyone. I didn't have any contact with anyone, so I didn't want to tell anyone until I went back to school. Monday comes. Me and my mom show up. I'm shaking from nervousness. I go into the principal's office. My mom said, we're here to address the exit sign situation. And then the office aide said, oh, right back here. So I went to my principal, sat down in the chairs, and he's like, okay, Aiden, we have a lot to talk about. So, pretty much all we talked about was my mom and pretty much my principal as well both called me a dummy, which I was. He said you would have been in so much less trouble. Nothing would have happened if you had just came in and told me, hey, look, I just broke this exit sign on accident. I just meant to touch it. I would believe you. But now you've run, and I can charge you with vandalism if I want. And and this, you know how much that exit sign costs? And I was like, no. He said that thing costs over $1,200. And I was like, why does an exit sign cost that much money? It's plastic lights and pretty much just paper. It's pretty much what it was. So, a few minutes of talking later, I thought I was going to for sure. I was just a highly anticipated question. Am I going to get lunch detention or ISS, or am I going to get let loose? I was almost 100% sure I wasn't going to get let loose. He's like, what do you think you're going to get? My mom said, I think he's going to get ISS for this. I was like, yeah, I'm probably going to get ISS. And he said, how's 3 days sound? And I was like, sounds horrible. I don't want to have ISS, but I'll take it if that's what you want to give me. He says, no, not ISS. 3 days of lunch detention. And I was like, what? I was like, what's lunch detention? Lunch detention, you just go during lunchtime, you write down some paragraphs, then you're allowed to go eat, but you can't eat with your friends. You have to go back to the room, the schoolroom, and eat there and stay quiet. And I was like, that would be great. I would prefer not having ISS. And he's like, well, this is the first time I've ever seen you in my office, so I'm just gonna let you off the hook this one time. You got 3 days of lunch detention. I'll have someone come by and give you your slips so you know where to go. My mom gave me a look like, you are the luckiest person alive. I was like, oh my god, thank you. I will never do this. I will never do anything again. So, uh, I head back and I'm bragging to my friends about how I just got lunch detention, and then my friends are telling me, dude, I got ISS for talking back to a teacher. You broke an exit sign and only got 3 days of lunch detention? It's like, yeah, pretty lucky, I guess. Uh, so, lunch detention wasn't that bad. Could have been worse, but we just had to go in there, write down what we did in a paragraph, write down uh, an apology note to. I accidentally said his name, is what happened. Gonna probably have to cut that out. Write an apology note to my principal, and then write how we'll never do it again and how we know it was wrong. So, and then we could go eat lunch. We could go eat lunch. We could bring our lunch. Stuff like that. If you bought one, you just brought it with you, and then you could eat after you finished. But you'd have to turn your paper in and make sure that your paragraphs were long enough so that you wouldn't cheat. 3 days go by. I finally had normal lunch again. I'm very happy for that. Was finally able to have lunch again. And started talking to all my friends about what happened. And I'm like, dude, I got let off the hook so much. And then all these situations are happening. Principal's calling me in, asking me about stuff. And for like an entire week, this entire week, the principal's been calling me in over and over again, making sure I've been doing good, not been getting into any trouble. And then Friday, the teacher calls into our room, or no, an office aide calls into our room, and says, "Can Aiden come to the office?" And I was like, "Oh God, when can this be over?" Because this is like the 17th time they've called me down to the office. So I went into the office, and then our secretary told me to come outside. So I went outside, and there were 3 people sitting there, and I was like, well, these people are good kids, I know them. And they're like, why am I with them? Apparently, we have office aides. There's rarely 7th graders, because it's a 7th and 8th grade center. But it's rarely 7th graders. You have to get a recommendation from the 6th grade center. But I did not get that because I moved in 7th grade. So I was not an office aide in 7th grade, but you could sign up for a form to be an office aide in 8th grade, which I did not plan to be because I thought it would be a horrible job for me because I'd have to answer phones and call into classrooms, and I'm a really quiet person, and I'm not good with being social. As you can probably tell now, my story's probably all over the place. But she wanted me to sign. I never planned to sign the form or fill out a waiver for it, but there were confusing questions like, what does the word courage mean to you? How, like, define courage, and what would you do if you saw a kid doing like all this random questions that I did not expect to be on an office aid form at all. And I was like, oh, do you guys want me as an office aide? And she's like, yeah, you seem like a good kid. There's nothing else you've done. She said this is the one time that someone with lunch detention has gotten into the office aide, because if you don't have, if you have to, if you have any sort form of ISS or lunch detention, then you're not allowed an office aide. But apparently some people at the who were 8th graders at the time had recommended me. And then a week later, I broke an exit sign, and the secretary was like, "Are you sure about this kid?" They're like, "He's a really good kid. We've seen him around at school." I still don't know who recommended me, but I'll take it. So next year goes by, and then I look at my schedule that I got, and I'm an office aide. I was a 5th period office aide. to be honest, really fun. I never answered the phone. Well, I answered the phone rarely when my partner wasn't there, but my partner was a very popular person at the time, so I let her do most of the talking. But really fun, quite the experience. But the school year cut off, so didn't get to really see all the last things of it about being an office aide because I know there was like a big party at the end that we would do. But office aide definitely got me some popularity. We had kids that would come in and be like, they'd already know they're in trouble and they've been in trouble. They're like notorious for being in trouble and getting called into the office. And then this one kid came in like almost every day of the week, and he came in and was like, "Oh, what'd I do this time?" Turns out he wasn't in trouble. I can't remember what it was, but he wasn't in trouble. You get a lot of weird things. He thought he was in trouble. He wasn't. I thought he was in trouble, but surprisingly, he was not. But being an officer was quite fun. Breaking an exit sign for it, would not recommend to do. Thank God, Miss, our principal did not make me or my mom pay for the exit sign, but I did see them repairing it, and I felt extremely bad because all my friends were pointing it out. They're like, "Oh, dude, look," because it was just pretty much wires for the past like 2 months, and that was all the exit sign was. And then, well, another kid did break an exit sign alongside me. Like a week later, he broke an exit sign, but this kid took the exit sign in and said, "Oh, I accidentally broke this." He got ISS. I don't know. They didn't know me. I'm surprised I didn't get ISS. And I don't know. I don't know why I got lunch attention and he got ISS because he didn't run. I ran. So, I'm pretty surprised about that. Let's see what else. I was gonna say something. Yeah, okay, so how they caught me, how they actually figured out who I was my band director. They knew it was right outside the band room. They call it the band hall. It was in the band hall, and my band director had said that it was me. That this was Aiden. They looked me up on the computer, found my parents' phone number, pretty much ratted me out. And then it was like the most awkward day coming back in. It still is going back into school because from time to time they'll be like, "So Aiden, how was breaking that exit sign?" I always get. It's always hilarious because now I'm the kid known as the one who broke the exit sign. Yes, I did get a bit popular out of it, but if you are trying to get popularity in school and don't have any other ways to do it, do not break an exit sign. It You probably will not get as lucky as I was at all. I don't know. I got extremely lucky. But yes, that was the story of how I broke an exit sign at my school. I could have gotten DAP and gotten sent away to like this like whatever like what do they call that? A reformatory school? I think that's what it was. I could have gotten that for God knows how long. But thank God my principal was very nice to me. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this story of how I broke an exit sign. Wouldn't 0 out of 10 would not do again. That's it from me. I will see y'all in the next video. Probably a some more random clips. But yeah, see y'all in the next one. That's it from me. Goodbye.